don't you ever see a biscuit? And then you're like, well, just eat the biscuit. And I was like, the biscuit doesn't fucking exist. The biscuit is like, there is no biscuit. It's like, fuck biscuit. I don't even, like, it's not even in my zone. I'm here in my zone. There's no biscuits in my zone. Fuck.
For years, I'm not fucking nervous. It's not the first time I saw.
There we are. Say hi.
Oh, the big man.
Good dog.
How is he?
He's looking at you.
Hey.
Yeah, he's all right. He's he had his X-rays, so it's mending well. The framework hasn't moved, so yeah, we're good. He can't go for walks properly yet, but I was worried that the pins and stuff might have slipped. That was the worry, and they haven't. So we're good. So we don't need to spend another $8,000.
Nice. So the first $8,000 was enough.
The first $8,000 was enough for now.
It's not the right weather anyway for walking in the dog, is it? So
No, to be fair, they said, "Oh, you could take him out for 5 minutes." I was like, "Nah, I'll be all right."
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's not the right weather for you to be walking the dog either. To be fair.
fuck me. I'm all right now, like just over 270. I'm all right. Like
Well, you've got
fucking anything over this. My CPAP's getting broken out again today. Like, I can just about deal with it at like 260 or like kind of stage weight area, but anything bigger and I just suffocate consistently.
Yeah.
You need the mask to sleep.
Yeah, it's a fucking nightmare. But yeah, I can get away with it when I'm smaller. Like I can get away with it, although it does interrupt. But have you got one, Dean?
No, never. I'm only light in it. The heaviest I've been is about 107 kilo, something like that.
Right, yeah. I mean,
you was probably that when you was about 10, weren't you?
I have to weigh it up because obviously sleeping with the mask stops you sleeping because it's fucking horrible. So your sleep has to be pretty bad to put it on. You got to like weigh it up. But yeah,
well, yeah, it's very dangerous, isn't it? If you are struggling, you might not fucking wake up one night.
Yeah. Well, it's just it's a strain on the heart as well. Like so. Yeah. Anyway,
I got it when I pushed myself up past like up to like close to 300. I get the old like sudden jolts waking up.
Yeah.
And my ex-girlfriend was like, "Yeah, you didn't breathe for like 60 seconds." But
yeah, I think when I had the panel, I woke up 50 times an hour or something.
Shit. Does it not worry you?
Me, I'm not much of a worrier in that way, really.
I guess if you don't wake up, you won't know about it.
Yeah, exactly. I think like of all the ways to die, that's probably like the one, isn't it?
Peaceful.
if he dies, he dies.
If I die, I die. Well, to be fair, actually, I'd rather like, explode into a million pieces. Something dramatic.
Spontaneously combust.
Yeah, just being like Sainsbury's on Winterstoke Road and just.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Do you reckon Lee has stood us up on purpose?
You know what, he might. I don't fucking blame him. I did it to him, and then you guys did it to him.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I mean, if I was him, I'd be doing it just out of principle.
You'd be like, sorry guys, I thought I got the days mixed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we couldn't. That's the bit. We couldn't even be annoyed, like even a bit.
No.
We'd have to be like, yeah, fair enough.
Never once in my life did I think I would be like standing up Lee Priest. So.
Or have we got the day wrong again?
No. It was definitely 9 o'clock.
Yeah, but 9 o'clock. So that means it's
6 o'clock for him, isn't it?
Yeah, but is it 6 o'clock today?
No, because that's right. That's right. That's what I thought. Yeah, last time I got it wrong. I thought we were 9 o'clock Sunday night. I thought they were behind, but they're not. They're ahead. So he's 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning now.
So he's Sunday.
Yeah.
He's in the future, isn't it?
He's in the future.
Does he know that? Was that communicated?
Yeah. It was always the intention for that to happen. I think that's what got mixed up last weekend. Was I for some reason thought they were behind. So I just said I was hanging around for Sunday at 9 p.m. and he messages like on Saturday night saying, "Are we doing this?" I'm like, "Oh fuck."
The answer is no. No, we're not.
Have you guys ever watched the film Chopper?
Yes.
Yeah.
I watched it again last night. It's hilarious. All I can think about is Lee every time he talks. Too bloody right. Keith done himself a mischief. It's hilarious. That's all I can think about.
Now look what you've done. Your mum's upset.
Yeah.
It's one of my
Punches
favourites.
her head in. Now look what you've bloody done.
Yeah.
Well, I'm waiting for Lee, who may or may not be standing us up on purpose, like the cunts that we are. Should we talk about Dean White a little bit?
Oh yeah, fucking right.
Wow, Dean.
As far as dream scenarios go, I think that's right up there, isn't it?
I mean,
think he's fucking. I mean, before he had an incredible physique, and now everything's come up. He's so complete. He's stacked out, and he's still young. He's got time to get thicker and more fullness. Lovely shapes to him. Lovely lines. He's quite short, but he doesn't look it because he's got that torso. He's got everything you fucking need, isn't it? I think he could do well on at Olympia level 212.
yeah. I mean,
Incredible.
I always like thought that he would, I always thought that he could. I didn't necessarily knew that he would, and I was always like prodding him because he's from like quite close to where I am, and yeah, and obviously props to Ben because he's obviously managed to harness that energy and that talent, and then obviously Dean has resonated with him, and look what happened. I mean, I think in the next 5 years he could be Flex Lewis level 212.
Yeah.
His arms are crazy, aren't they?
Yeah, he's got
Incredible physique.
and what a weekend. Yeah, to just come through and just like we knew he was going to get the card really, and then but to go all the way through. I mean, I knew that it was the plan for him to get or try and get a qualification spot. I don't know whether they realised it would be all in the same weekend.
He deserves it. He's going to be tough to beat.
Well,
he's got the condition, everything.
He's registered for the Arnold UK as well now, isn't he?
Yeah, I think they must have caught him on the right time.
Yeah,
really, logistically, he probably shouldn't.
Yeah, I can't see that happening because they did the same with James Hollingshead, didn't they? Last year, James Hollingshead was gonna do it, and then was like, "Nah, I'm gonna be in America, getting ready for the Olympia, like, settling in." So, yeah, I don't see how that's a positive thing. It's a good thing for British bodybuilding. We want him on that stage, but like in my mind, he should be focusing on that Olympia, shouldn't he?
I think obviously like the promoters have like gone straight to him whilst he's on an absolute high and been like, please do this, it'll be sick. But yeah, when it comes down to push to shove and it's going to be any level of detrimental to the end goal, I duck out myself. Whether or not he does, it's completely to him.
I mean, he's done a few shows now, isn't it, back to back, and he hasn't faded. He's come in fucking awesome at every one of them. So I think he could do it.
He's got to be careful. He's got kidney issues, hasn't he? Like,
he's got one operative kidney. So yeah, he but yeah, he did the PCA. Obviously, like that pro lineup at the PCA as well was actually fucking solid.
Yeah.
Like, the pro universe, there's fucking physiques in there.
Yeah. So I don't know what gear Dean pushes. I don't believe he takes too much, but I know he's constantly getting his bloods checked because I think he was with Dr. Khan at Transform Now today, actually. So he's sensible.
Well, he knows he's got an issue. He knows that he, more than anyone, needs to check things like lipids, and he's got to keep a special eye on shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't actually, I was trying to remember how fucking old he is now. But
well, he's still young, isn't he? I'm thinking about 26, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think
older than that now.
Yeah.
I tell you what, before Lee comes on, I had a question. You remember when, didn't IFBB randomly drug test Lee?
Yeah.
When they wanted to fuck him up.
I think they did, yeah.
Do you get a memory of that? Do you remember how long he was actually banned for?
Oh, mate, he's been banned so many times, and fuck knows, like...
Well, I'll tell you for why. The question came up because... sorry, my dogs are attacking each other. Stop. Yeah, okay, you can stay there. Oh God. The guy that I was talking to today was doing semi-professional rugby, and obviously wanted to do bodybuilding as well. But obviously, rugby players get drugs tested, and then if you fail a drug test in any sport, then you're banned from all sports. So would you then be banned from like IFBB, NPC because they're a tested federation?
I don't think it feeds in that way, does it?
No, I was trying to no, but I mean, if you were flagged, then they'd think
Make
about
an
it.
example of you or something.
Yeah.
But it's not really recognised as a sport, is it? This is why everyone gets fucked over and there's so much corruption. Because they do what the fuck they want.
They can't do that because there's so many of their pro bodybuilders online talking about what gear they take.
Yeah, now they're also open.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, we openly talk about cycles and things that we may or may not have done in the past. But the truth is that, you know, more information is good because people are going to do these things anyway. But the scenario but he's in is an awkward one because if he's playing semi-pro rugby, it's not conducive for bodybuilding anyway. So he's got to pick one ultimately, really.
Yeah. I was just trying to remember how long Lee was banned when he was drug tested, as if anyone else wasn't. Everyone else was fine. It was
just because he was high profile. It's one of those ones, isn't it? Like obviously they didn't like Lee and they wanted to cause shit for him, but like your buddy, they won't even know him from Adam. So I don't think it's gonna. Do you know what I mean?
It's crazy. Like I watched a video popped up. I think it was this morning or yesterday. I can't remember. And it was Lee when they're doing the press conference before the Olympia, and they pulled him up and they was talking about giving out prize money at the Olympia, and he said like, yeah, I'll share my fucking, if I win money, I'll share it with the athletes that don't get anything because I think it's bullshit. It's not fair that people who were training just as fucking hard as me come outside the top 10 and don't get a penny for it. So I'll give my money to them. And they was like, oh, well, yeah, people say this, people that want it in writing. He's like, well, actually, I've done a letter. Here it is in writing. And he gave it to them there and then. He shared his fucking prize money out amongst the athletes. Who the fuck does that? And he caused a massive big fuss in it, pushing to get the athletes more money and fairly, which is amazing, brilliant thing to do for the whole federation, especially for the athletes. Why does he get so much fucking shit? Because he's the one who opens his mouth and says these things, they don't like it.
Yeah.
It's wrong, isn't it? He's trying to do what's best for everybody.
Yeah, generally, as a rule of thumb, when Lee causes a stir, there's generally a deeper meaning or a purpose for it. You know, he's not just causing shit for the sake of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's crazy shit.
He's actually he's got a, you know, his moral compass and his principles are pretty fucking solid for a guy who gets in so much shit.
Yeah, but if you've got a solid grounding in any direction, you're gonna fuck someone off.
Yeah.
I mean,
like I said before, some of the shit he's done, you wouldn't even think of it. He doesn't talk about, like when you just leave a pile of money at the grocery store to pay for the next person just randomly. He does shit like that all the time. He's just giving money away, helping people. He doesn't really talk about it or mention it. He doesn't brag about it. He just makes himself feel good.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Is that, I don't know, the thing of like a good deed is only a good deed if you don't get found out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
he gets such a bad rap to be such a bad person, but he's far from it.
Yeah, it's like those people in there on social media videoing themselves giving money to homeless people and shit.
I fucking hate that. Let's film someone at their absolute worst and document it for all to see.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Fucking right. Absolute fucking shit state.
Thought you were gonna say I've got a message then from
no, I'm gonna message him now. See what the crack is. We deserve this.
Yeah, to be fair.
You fucking can't.
Now look what you've done. Hands up.
I love it. Oh, I mean, at the end of the day, he owed us one. Well, he owed us more than one.
Yeah, he owes us two collectively.
Right.
Oh, mate, to be fair, it's actually not bad. He managed to group all the people that stood him up together in one to do a group lesson.
Yeah, He's just rounded us up, hasn't he? He fucking set us
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Okay. Abe thinks that he did well.
He's a big man. How much does he weigh now?
50.
50 kilos.
Yeah, 50. But that's obviously like he's not been out or built any muscle for like 6 weeks. So when he's up and eating and he can move, he should be a bit heavier.
Maybe bulking the same time as you, know?
Yeah, I'll get him on the Anadrol.
What's the plan for the show next year? Have you picked one yet?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna try and get like 2 pushes. Obviously with some time off in between, and then I'll look and go, is that a lot better? And if it is, then I'll pick a show. That's kind of like the plan. If somehow everything goes wonderfully and I do make enough of a leap in 1, then I'll think about it. But I think 2 is kind of the game. So sometime next year, maybe around this sort of time, like the British is quite close. Maybe next year, British, something like that.
Yeah, that'll be a solid shout, because I think you're not going for an easy win, then, are you?
I've never been good at turning up to that.
What do you mean, going to butt-fuck Norway and doing a pro qualifier?
Well, I think the next run I probably would give it more than 1 stab.
Okay. We'll do the Timbuktu Classic.
Yeah, I'll do the Azerbaijan Intergalactic Arse Candle. So, and see how I go.
Nice.
I'd like to do a pro show before I pack it in, so that would be good. But like I said, as long as I can keep getting better, I will keep doing it. And as long as like my when I go to the Heart Foundation, not the Heart Institute, nothing's declining, then I'll do it. But I'm not going to be someone who's going to do all the bits that you have to do it and get worse. I'm not going to do that. I love training. I'll always train, but I'm not going to do this to get worse. I'll just show pictures of people when I wasn't that and pretend I look like that under a jumper.
Yeah, just drip feed them all the time so people think you're in shape. But
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the annoying thing is I don't take any photos. So actually I'm going to have to, I should start doing them. I am going to try and document more bits at some point. My training as well is shit at the moment because I fucked my shoulder up, so I can't actually lift anything. So I'm not going to, I don't know, I feel like I don't film anything because it's shit.
What have you done to your shoulder?
Oh, I don't even really know, but it's like inflamed the whole thing. So that bicep head is inflamed, the AC in the shoulder is inflamed. That it just, yeah, it's messy.
Right.
It's messy.
Just train you, just record the legs and back sessions. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I might have to. Although the shoulder's still pulling on the.
I did all this and made all these mistakes. I didn't record anything because I always felt like I looked shit. And then you look back and you're like, I wish I fucking did. Just record it.
Yeah.
You don't have to post it. You don't have to do anything with it. It's there. You know what I mean? These fucking digital cameras and phones we got now are amazing. You can hold so much shit. You don't like it, delete, gone.
Yeah,
Just
I do.
get on it, because you'll end up being like me, that has been who say, I used to do this, I used to do that. What can you do now?
Yeah.
Yeah. You see some of the people who are like YouTube famous, their physiques are shit. They're good at talking down the camera and presenting like a nice little fucking video. Like Dan, like people watch this podcast because they know how fucking mental Dan is. So it's like they would love that shit if they could get like a handy camera, fucking, up close and personal with Dan and do some blogging and stuff like that. It's just, I think in the past, Dan didn't have the time. He's got the time now, so he's just got to stop making the excuses, really.
I know. It won't be glitzy. I remember Luke Sando did a thing called iPhone series. Do you remember that? It was when, and he just filmed it on an iPhone and like slammed it in iMovie or something and just put it up. And I really liked it because it was just some sessions, like had some bits in between and some banter, and it was just, there was nothing fancy about it. It didn't claim it was fancy, but ultimately, if you're watching a training video, you're watching it to get an air of what's happening in that session, not for like fancy
the
angles.
Realness, isn't it? Exactly what you go for at that time.
Let's rephrase that. I think that's what we would watch it for.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. If you want the views, unfortunately, you've got to play the game.
Yeah, you're gonna have to wear a thong and do some fucking over rows, and you know what I mean, stiff-legged deadlifts with the ass crack. You gotta get used.
To get right under the angle though, Dan.
I can do that.
Creative glutes.
Mate, I love the moonshot that people think it's okay. I mean, I know prep is like, you know, a special time for everyone. And we do the bending over in the mirror thing.
It's the only way you get those hamstrings out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's banned on stage, isn't it?
Yeah,
Good.
it's banned because everyone just used to do it. But it's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah. You know, one of my pet hates on social media at the minute is when people get lean, they have to. Obviously, they're proud that they've got lean and they've got a bit of restoration in their fucking glute. Why have you got to take pictures completely stark bollock naked with your fucking ass out or a little sock over your fucking dick or something? What is that all about?
Yeah.
You can wear some pants and still see how fucking straightened your glutes are. Why have you got to be naked? I don't want to see that shit.
Yeah, you should leave something. I do like I've got a collection of the tiny socks that they hand out at shows now.
they always extra large socks.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I meant. Not definitely a 2-year-old sock. But they're always superhero ones. I quite like collecting them. Might have them framed.
Yeah.
You could make some good money off them.
Yes.
Just don't wash them.
Those out there.
Don't wash them. Why would I wash them?
No, I'm just thinking because that's what they like to pay for.
Yeah, don't wash them. Yeah, they like them when they're stiff.
And they can stand up on their own.
Another one that cracks me up is these bloody bikini girls when they get mega lean and they do the little bend over pose, and you can literally see the outer of the chocolate starfish. Like you can, and they don't care. They just post it.
I've seen them on stage, and I've seen what she ate for fucking breakfast. I can see half a chicken fucking breast hanging out, and the lady. That's all she's eaten in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, and some dust.
Some dust. I don't get it. Like, the shows about seem to be some of the girls that are winning the bikini. To me, I don't know how to judge the show, but they look ill. They look anorexic. All their ribs out. Their legs are like fucking skeleton stick thin, and some of them are winning at that level. I don't know how to judge the show. I may be out of context and wrong here, but to me, it looks fucking ill, and they're praising the ones that look the worst to me.
Yeah.
What's your guys? What's your thoughts?
I think the scoring needs adjustment on basically like that. What's happened is bikini girls are misinterpreting what bikini is and forgetting that actually bikini girls aren't that small off season. They're not that small. I mean, they're smaller than they were now. They're smaller than they were before the other kind of categories came in, like, you know, in the kind of early 2000s and stuff. Bikini girls off season were big girls. They were big, and so obviously people are going, oh, I want to do my first show. I'm going to do a bikini. They think they're a bit closer than they actually are, and then when they diet down, obviously they look like a bit scary. And I think
they got a fat ass in their jeans on the off season, and they think, oh yeah, I've got a big ass now. They think diet the fat away, and it's a bit of bone.
Yeah.
You watch it.
A criteria based on having more of a shape person.
They just look malnourished. That's all I can say. They just don't look healthy, and a lot of them look like they've never stood foot in a fucking gym. If I'm honest.
Yeah, I know. Bikini girls who prep for shows, they haven't had a period in a couple of years. Their bodies are completely fucked. You get close and they ain't got makeup on. Their skin looks like they've been dead for 6 months. They're rotten from the inside out because the little nutrition and food that they're getting, and they're just living on some fucking Anavar and Clenbuterol. It's unbelievable. The coaches have got a lot to blame for some of it because there's so many fucking prep coaches now that ain't got a clue what they're doing. A girl will respond incredibly well to steroids compared to a guy. So if you just shook them on some gear and take away all their food, they're still going to hold muscle or even grow a little bit and just fucking wither away to nothing. It's disgusting. Like they're really fucking got their health in my eyes.
Yeah, I think that's just a time thing. Like even for bikini, like you should be training for like three plus years at least.
Well, you mean you can't just like join the gym because you've already decided that you're going to do a show?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, people are like, I'm going to do a show in 12 weeks, so I'm going to start the gym. Like that's like always scary.
I've been on trend for 6 weeks now, so I figured to start in the gym. I do a show in 12.
Fuck. It is mad, isn't it? When you think about it, like some of these girls doing these shows, it's just it's just like a fashionable thing to do now. It's like a statement. I'm doing a show. I did a show, and like, the fucking relationships these girls have got with food will fuck them up for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Well, I don't just want to single the girls out. I mean, a lot of the guys are just as bad in the broad short classes and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, a guy will have a lot more muscle mass than a woman, obviously, but some of them, there's nothing to them whatsoever, and they get ripped abs and they think they look amazing. But
yeah,
I feel a lot.
It's hard because it's everyone. I have these conversations, and what about people like losing muscle and stuff like that? And like the reality is that it just wasn't actually there. Like, and you don't know how big you are until you've been in shape. Some people have never been there. They think they're like bigger than they are. That's why people like think, oh, my mate Dave, he was as big as you, but you're like, you never go above like 15% body fat ever.
Yeah.
You don't realize how big a bodybuilder is until you've tried to get anywhere near the composition that they walk around, even off season.
Yeah.
It's not that you've killed loads of muscle, because it's not that easy. People just think you instantly evaporate muscle as soon as if you're training hard. Like you're signaling your body to keep onto it, and as long as you're not doing anything stupid, then for the large majority of the time, even naturally, your body isn't just going to shit muscle away. Obviously, as a natural guy, it's going to do it a lot more. But people are doing assisted. You're doing drugs that are literally designed at very small dosages to keep AIDS patients alive. You're not going to have muscle wasting. Like, do you know what I mean? You haven't got a degenerative disease.
It's
like,
exactly what you just said. The muscle weren't there in the first place. So they're fucking delusional. They get lean, and you're like, well, you got another 3-4 stone to come off with water, bloat, and a bit more fat. And they look at you like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm fucking ripped. I'm ready. And I get new clients, and I work out their lean body mass just from the total weight and their fat percentage. And when I tell them their lean body mass, they don't want to know. They're like, no, that's not true.
I'm going to grow into it. Kevin Levrone did it.
Yeah. It's mental, isn't it?
I think at the moment as well, though, like a lot of these fucking guys and girls, right? They're doing shows, and they're going back to back with shows, not getting better, not improving, just looking the same, not really getting really lean, fucking their health up. And they're happy with that. They're happy. And I guess from our perspective, being people who just want to do this for, the old school reasons, to keep improving, but not, we're not doing it for shits and giggles. But there's so many of them out there who are. They're just doing it just to say that they're doing it. And they don't resonate with what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, you guys know how fucking hard it is to get in the condition it takes to win a good quality show. And anyone can get lean and get their abs ripped. But to get your hamstrings and your glutes as ripped as your abs and hold a shit ton of muscle is extremely fucking hard. And not many people can or will ever do that. So half of these people that are doing it for shits and giggles just get on stage lean and making up the numbers. That's why they're like that. They have no idea what it takes to, if they put themselves through that just fucking once, they'd probably never compete again. It's not fun, is it? It's
exactly. Yeah.
Huge sacrifices in your life.
Yeah. That is the thing is as well. I was speaking to someone the other day, and it's like a contest prep, adhering to a contest prep is hard, but it's not as hard as adhering all the time, because that's how you fucking improve. It's not like there's no fucking off season. There isn't. It's just got the wrong name.
Yeah.
It's just another part of prep. Prep starts, maybe you have a week off, like to let your body recover after you've done a few back-to-back shows. But then prep starts as soon as you're back in the gym. It's just a different phase of that. It's not, I'll get prep out the way and then I'll go back to doing whatever. You will not improve. So you may as well just not do another show ever again.
Yeah. You're only going to get out what you put into it. And if you put every ounce of your energy, 100% into it, then you're going to get the best results on it. So if half of the year you're just fucking around and you're laying off and you're pigging out on shit, you're not going to be as good as you could be unless you're an absolute genetic fucking freak. And even then, I believe they could still be better if they was doing everything right. An average body muscle will always grow easier on a lean body because the amount of receptors you have either in your muscle or in your fat. If you've got more fat, you've got more fat receptors. If you've got more muscle, you've got more receptors to hold glycogen in the muscle. So if you're 15+% body fat, 20% body fat, and you're eating a shit ton of carbs, the majority of those carbs are going to go and get stored as fat because you have more receptors of fat. If you're Ronnie Coleman and you've got fucking 300 pound of muscle on your frame, he's going to struggle to eat enough carbs to even fill out his muscle, let alone put any fat on. You'd have to gorge on fucking blocks of lard to get fat. And that's what people don't understand, how your body adapts and it changes, like epigenetics and the way you train it, the way you're eating, the amount of muscle. And over years, your body becomes so efficient at storing glycogen in the muscle. You just start and you don't have much muscle, then you're not going to be able to eat like Ronnie Coleman does without getting fat, and you certainly ain't going to put the muscle on that he has. So keep the food clean, give your body what it needs to grow, innit? Like if you can't physically eat that many calories and you're at a certain size, that's when you start chucking extra fats in and a bit of junk maybe now and then. Your body might need to fill it out, especially when you're first starting. How many people are you dieted and the first week they're like, oh, when's my cheat meal? So they're thinking about, like, you haven't even done a week's diet yet. You're talking about a fucking cheat meal, you fat fuck. It's gonna get me started in a minute. What's your guys' protocol off season and shit like? Because I keep my food clean all the time. I'll have a little bit of junk if I want it, but the majority of I have, even now, me and my missus have one blowout a week, and I don't eat for muscle. I don't eat to diet or anything. I eat for health now, but I'm still an athlete, so I feed the muscle, but more health. So, but when I was trying to compete, I wouldn't eat shit. It's all just tons and tons of good complex carbs. It was hard to eat that amount, and I made slow, steady gains. People are like, oh, why don't you just put 2 stone on in a year? Because it'd be fucking fat and bloat. That's why. I don't have the genetics to grow that much muscle in a year. I did the best I possibly could, give your body what it needs to grow. What do you guys do?
Yeah, I mean,
you're twice the size of me. You bring in a lot of fucking calories.
I only eat like shit or whatever if it ties me to a social occasion. Like tomorrow, my mum wants to meet and have dinner. I'm not going to take my Tupperware. I'll eat whatever the fuck's being eaten. You know, so I'll do it just for freedom of life, to spend time with the people that I leave out when I'm prepping. My focus is never I want to eat a burger or anything. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. I really don't. And I'm not just saying that because it's hard as fuck. I have no food focus at all. It's a job to eat. That's how I view it. It's probably just because it's just happened for so long that I've removed the food focus. Don't get me wrong, on prep, I have dreams about potatoes with rice in them and cheese and
You're craving the food at that point.
But I'm more craving the feeling the food gives you when you're on prep and you eat something and you're like, wow, that did nothing. You're feeling you just want the feeling of being full. So when I'm on prep, I really miss like that. But having the no real food focus in kind of the off season, I don't ever just think, oh, I really fancy a KFC and go and have a KFC. If Alice wants to go for dinner and we haven't spent time with each other, we'll go for dinner. I'll not beat myself up about it. I'll probably lose weight. Around Christmas, I'm not going to be like, fuck off, mum, I'm not having turkey. So if I'm not on prep, it's not going to make any difference. I'll probably lose weight over Christmas more than anything. So I'll do it more associated with like that. In terms of clients, depending on how serious they are and what their metabolism is, I usually allow a certain amount of freedoms for them to pick, maybe 1 or 2 a week, for socials. Some people take them up, some people don't. You can usually pick the people that want to go and do it and you have to rein them in. But most of the people, if they're serious about it, you give them a 2 and most of them go, well, there was nothing going on. I was just going to work, so I didn't have one this week. The people you can trust with doing it, and the people that you need to go, no, actually don't go to the all-you-can-eat buffet every day. You know, or like someone go, the thing is that my body just responds really well to sugar. No, it doesn't.
It's a pretty prevalent question as well, really, for me, because I was anorexic as a teenager. So my relationship with food was pretty poor. And I found in off seasons in the past, any sort of bloat or fullness feeling. So I'm the opposite. Like Dan doesn't mind feeling big and bloat. He can push to that point and he's okay with it. For a long time, I couldn't do it. I couldn't sustain it. I'd push up to a decent weight and subconsciously it would just end up dropping because I just couldn't hold that feeling or that uncomfortable sort of bloat. So my off seasons haven't been very productive at all, to be honest. And I've got 3 kids who I tend to, as I get deeper and deeper into the off season, the more I just have the freedom to eat with them. But I had a more of a structured off season last time round, and I'm just like obviously having a small gap now between shows and stuff with Dan coaching and doing the reins, holding the reins and stuff. And you know what? For the first time in my bodybuilding career, like I'm not craving any of the shit. I want to see that the difference in holding it through the down periods and stuff. But I guess it's difficult for us as hardcore bodybuilders, like who like want to do this like to the best of our ability, to understand the mentality of other people. Like I've in my job and stuff, sometimes in the off season, I do have to eat for convenience, but having done this for long enough, you know how to do that in a sensible way. Unfortunately, some people are not nutritionally aware enough to be able to do that in a sensible manner, are they?
Well, I think most people as well, like you have to, like, it's a hierarchy, isn't it? You need to look after like your finances and stuff like that. And this is a hobby that goes on top. Your diet and needs to be designed around you being able to earn money to support whoever you need to support, to keep yourself in, you know, a house and the basic needs. This is all a luxury on top. You know, so I think that the diet programming for people is based on what they can actually do. And obviously you hear it all the time. The best diet is the one that you can do. And so, you know, I can see how people have a certain amount of freedoms and macro stuff like that. Is it optimal? I don't think so. But for most people, it's just, you know, it's a hobby and you need to do it. And most people won't blend tuna because tuna's on their meal and they don't have time to eat it. Most people aren't willing to do that. I personally don't give a fuck. I'll blend baby if I need to.
Priorities, isn't it? At the end of the day, whatever you prioritize, you will make time for no matter what. And when you take bodybuilding so serious and it becomes a career, then it has to be priority, don't it? Whereas a lot of the clients, they just want to look good, and to put themselves through those extremes, you cannot blame them to go and have a fucking burger or whatever they want now and then. And I just think if people don't want to compete, fucking good on them, because the stress you put on your body, I don't blame anybody for not wanting to. But if you make that decision and that's what you want to do, you have to be on it, don't you? You have to be strict. When I was competing in my younger years, I was a cunt. Still am, but even more so. Like I would have my meals, my 6 meals a day. I'd have them all boxed out, and the whole world, the whole universe revolved around me and my fucking meals. And if I'm 1 minute over, I'm kicking off and going fucking crazy. It was so selfish, but that's how you have to be. Yeah. So you go to a restaurant and I'm sat there with my fucking Tupperware tub. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't bat an eyelid at that. That's normal. To the point, like, it was a problem. I wouldn't go anywhere. I wouldn't do anything. It's somebody's wedding or something, and I won't go because I'm in prep. It kind of takes over your life. Until the 1 year I was prepping for the British, this changed my whole mindset. My dad got really ill. He got this some kind of cancer. Something hit all his internal organs at the same time. They gave him 3 months, and he lasted 3 years. So I'd go see him every week, and as time got on, he's still here. He's doing okay. He'd have bad days, he'd have good days, constantly on dialysis, in and out the hospital. And I'm getting close to a show. I'm about fucking 6 weeks out or something, and I'm getting moody, I'm getting arsey. And I go around to see him every week, and it gets to that point. You know what it's like. You can't fucking be around normal people. You can't hold a conversation. I'm dragging my feet. I can't even fucking talk. So I'm like, I don't want to put him through that and be a moody dick around him. I'll go and see him next week. I put it off. So next week comes, I'm even worse. I put it off. The last 6 weeks up to the show, I kept putting it off. I was like, you know what? We'll make some special time after the show. When I competed, won the British. It was over a weekend. So I left on the Thursday or the Friday, got a hotel. He died on the Friday. Nobody told me. I competed, I won, come back Sunday. Then they told me because they didn't want it to affect the competition and all that shit. I felt so fucking angry at myself for being such a selfish prick. I was done with bodybuilding at that point. The last 6 weeks, I'd never went to see my dad before he died. Never got to see him again. And that's it. I was done with bodybuilding. I said, I'm not a selfish person, but this is what it's made me become. And so I was done. Time went on, a couple of months. You know what it's like after a comp, your emotions all over the place, your food's so low, your fucking gear, everything is going on. So your hormones are completely off. You're an emotional wreck. That settles down. I start to think straight. And I was like, man, my dad was so proud of me in the competitions. I thought, you know what, that was just my stupid fault. I didn't get to see him, but he's looking down on me. He must have been so fucking proud that I won that show. I wish I could have dedicated it to him or something. I thought, you know what, I'm not going to stop competing because he loved me doing that. But it changed my mindset. I said, like, I can go and do this shit and put a fucking smile on my face, no matter how much pain I'm in, for other people's sake. I take my food with me. I go to a wedding and I pack all my meals. I can't eat their shit. It might be painful for me, but I'll put myself through that just to make those happy and share those times. You can still do both if you become more mentally strong, innit? So that taught me a massive lesson and really up to the gear. So now I see, even now I don't compete. My food is, I always eat clean, what I want to eat, what my body needs. And people are like, oh, do you want this? I got you a treat with some chocolate. I'm like, how is that a treat? You're trying to give me diabetes. You don't like me. I don't like shit food. I don't like sugar. I don't like chocolate. I don't like cakes. People look at me like I'm crazy. Well, think about it. When you've eaten so clean for so long, you've changed your whole microbiome. So your microbiome is made up of like 39 trillion different bacteria. What you feed will thrive and get more of. What you don't feed will starve off and get less of. So if you're eating loads of shit, you're feeding the bad bacteria and they're going to take over the good bacteria, and eventually you're going to get a shitload of problem. 60% of your immune system's in the gut. So your immune system's fucked. Your whole digestive system's fucked. You're not even taking in the nutrients properly because you can't break the foods down. You start to become intolerant to so many foods because you don't have the right bacteria to break down those foods. Yeah. So like, what feeds your microbiome, the good bacteria? Fiber. Where do you get fiber from? Plants. Every single plant has a different kind of fiber that feeds different bacteria. A lot of these good bacteria, they're quite fussy eaters. Say this particular one is fucking really good bacteria, but he only likes the fiber from beans. So if I stop eating all beans for a long time, these bacteria are going to start to disappear. And now one day I eat a shit ton of beans. There is not enough bacteria there to break down the amount of beans I've eaten. So it's going to go straight through me. I'm going to get gut pains and splatter the pan. And then the doctor will be like, oh, you're intolerant towards beans, so don't eat beans. It's the worst thing you can fucking do because you make the problem even worse. If you slowly introduce these foods back and build the good bacteria back. Because another thing with the microbiome is what you're so used to eating and what bacteria you build will actually affect your taste buds and what foods you enjoy and what foods you crave. Because I don't eat that shit. I don't like that shit. Your body will change. So I eat as many different plants as I can. Diversity of plants is what gives you a brilliant microbiome. So cut the shit out. Stop eating sugar because it's the worst thing you can eat. Bodybuilders are like, I gotta get massive, so I'm gonna have shit tons of glucose and fucking simple carbs after training. what it's going to do is spike your blood sugars and fuck you up in the long run. Probably get diabetes and all the rest of it. Can lead to so many different problems. Carbs is one of the main problems, but you can do it healthily-ish. You don't have to.
There's two things really. The first part of that story you just told there, I think for most long-term bodybuilders, it's almost like teenage puberty, right? You start bodybuilding for a period, you think the world has to fucking stop because you're bodybuilding. And there'll be like one moment where something happens, you're like, hang on a minute, I'm being a bit of a dick. And then you realize, fuck, I've got to change this. This is my choice. And then things will improve for you in your life. Generally, when you prep, you are a bit more self-aware. Me having 3 kids, that happened once when I refused to pick my daughter's teddy up off the top of shelf because it was too far and I was tired. And then I had to have a word with myself because she got upset. So from that day forward, made a point, right, no longer is this prep going to affect my children. We're going to just do everything we normally would, and I'm just going to have to take it on the chin. Second part of that, when you're talking about the whole sort of microbiomes and all that good stuff, I was sat here yesterday. My mum came and visited the children, and she said to my daughter, "Oh, I've got type 2 diabetes. It's hereditary." And I spat my coffee out because I said, "Mum, you've spent my entire life grossly overweight, eating like an absolute asswipe, and you're going to go around telling people that this is a hereditary condition. It's not. It's self-induced." And she, "Oh no, but your grandparents had it." And I said, "Yeah, they also ate like assholes too." So let's not sit here and feel sorry for ourselves because it is self-induced and you're fully in control of that.
You're exactly right, mate. It is hereditary. It's been passed down. That just means you're more prone to it. So that's, to me, it's more a reason to not fucking eat sugars and simple carbs because you're more likely to get it than a normal person because you're more prone to it. When I got my genetics tested, I told you last time, I am at high risk of being obese and having diabetes. I'm far from either. Why? If I could eat shit all my life, and I most definitely would be a diabetic right now. And then I could sit there and say, "Well, it's in my genetics. I got them tested. It's just one of those things, isn't it?" You're in control. Every fucking action you do now is going to create your future. Same with your health and also your actions, like you were just saying with your daughter. I remember one time I'm working on the door at security, and I'm fucking pissed off. I'm tired. I'm starving. And my car's parked just across the road in front of me. And this big fat cunt walks over, sits on my car bonnet with a big fat burger, stuffing it in his face. Why should it be? It's a piece of shit car, but it's my piece of shit car. Like, if I seen that now, I'd find that funny. At the time, I'm dieting. I go to him. "Excuse me, do you mind just getting off my car?" And he just looked at me. Boom! Smashed him on the floor. I got his burger and I rammed it in his fat fucking face. Dragged him across the thing. But my point is, I mean, at the time, I thought he deserved that. The guy's pissed. He doesn't know what he's doing. And because he's eating a burger and he's fat, I was mad because I couldn't eat that burger and I'm dieting and he sat on my car. Is he hurting my car? No. He's not doing anything. Do you know what I mean? He's just a pissed up guy doing nothing. What if I'd have seriously hurt that guy because of my action right then and ended up in prison, or he smashed his head on the floor and he killed him or something like that? That's my whole life changed for one stupid little outburst. And all it is because I couldn't control my emotional state in that time. We act on our emotions, innit? So you have to think about what you're fucking doing. And if you're doing shit that making you can't control your emotions, you need to rein that crap in. People taking far too much gear and doing all this shit, and then they get so angry, do stupid shit, end up in prison. Oh, it was that guy's fault. Just like I was talking earlier, Chopper Reed, your mum's upset. Now look what you made me do. Punching her face in, like she did it. It's mental, isn't it?
But you rationalize it in your own head, though, don't you? And that's the thing. That's when it gets like serious. Is that sometimes even when you act like a bit of a dick, you can be like, I was being a bit of a dick. But when you rationalize it in your own head, and you're like, yeah, I was right to do that, that's when it's fucking dangerous.
Yeah, you got the most grown-up thing a person can do is take responsibility for his own actions, and not many people can do that. They always want to blame someone else or something else, or genetics, hereditary, whatever fucking bullshit, just to take the blame away to make yourself feel better.
What I wanted to revisit was the microbiome thing, because I remember reading an article that you wrote about alkalizing your digestive system, which is obviously kind of what you were talking about. And I just want, I've read it, obviously, but maybe you could elaborate on that for others.
I got so much shit over this article. Basically, you can go, I could talk this for hours. You really got to go into the biology and break it down to the cells. But I try and simplify as much as I can. We do it quickly. So basically, your body, your blood in your body runs at about a pH 7.365 as a perfect pH. If that goes much up or much down, you're dead. You like, your body constantly tries to keep that pH level. So you can do pH tests and stuff. Best obviously is to test your blood, but that you're not going to see much difference in that. If you do, you're already dead. So you do piss tests, and it can be quite up, quite down throughout morning to night, depending on what you're eating. And people are like, well, it's pointless doing piss tests because it's all over the place. But what we're looking for in a piss test is it's showing how acidic your piss is, to how much acidic food you're eating, to how much your body's getting rid of. So this whole article basically was all about trying to have a balance of like 70% alkaline, 30% acidic. A bodybuilder's lifestyle, everything is like meat, sugars are really acidic. There's a lot of acidic foods, whereas alkaline foods are usually vegetables, green leafy vegetables, because they're when you break the cells down, they're packed full of electrons basically, which makes the food more alkaline, which brings in more oxygen. So when you break it down, right down to atoms, you below atoms, you break that right down. You have protons, neutrons, and electrons that make up the atoms. So when you get too many protons in an atom, it starves the oxygen. It stops oxygen getting in. So that becomes acidic. When you get lots of electrons in the cell, it pulls more oxygen in. We thrive off oxygen. The alkaline goes up. The cells thrive. So basically, when you're eating tons and tons of sugar and stuff like that, and not enough alkalizing foods, because you have this balance, the more shit you're putting in, the more acidic, the harder your body has to work to get the shit out. So this whole massive article that I wrote, I went in quite deep about it. People are just like, well, it's all fucking bullshit. It's been proven wrong because your body's got a buffering system and it'll always keep your blood the same level, else you'll be dead, which is true, but you got to work with your body, right? So this buffering system that it uses to keep that pH perfect, the more stress you're putting on the buffering system, the more it's depleting what the buffering system needs. And that's a lot of minerals, things like calcium and stuff like that it needs for this buffering system. So if you see old people, when they get old and they start to shrink and crunch over, that's usually because their body over time is becoming acidic and there's not enough minerals. So a desperate attempt to stay alive, your body starts to strip out calcium and stuff from the bones and magnesium to aid the buffering system to keep you alive. But in a negative effect of doing that, your bones start to get brittle and soft, and you could actually reverse that process. You shouldn't shrink when you get old if your diet's good enough. So basically, you're trying to work with your body. So if you have a nice balance of more alkaline in foods than you do acidic foods, the buffering system can easily cope. And as long as you're putting enough nutrients into your body to help the buffering system, it'll always get the shit out and you'll be at a nice, perfect balance. If you don't put enough good in, and over time, there's always that balance is off, and there's too much acidic to alkaline, over many, many years of doing that, it's going to really stress the buffering system, and your body will slowly start to become acidic to the point things start breaking down. You get sick, you get ill. When cells break down, that you're 50 to 100 trillion cells. You're probably like fucking 200 trillion cells because you're not a normal person. But so like 50 to 100 trillion cells. Every few minutes, you've got millions and millions of cells that are dying and new ones being formed and produced to take over. So when those cells are in a bad environment, they can get sick, they can break down, they can die, or they can mutate. And when you get mutations in cells, that's when you get disease. So there's no such thing as a cancer cell. A cancer cell is a normal cell that's had 12 to 14 different mutations and it's become cancerous. It's quite hard to get cancer, but say, for instance, you smoke cigarettes, we all know that smoking is related to lung cancer. You're putting all those cells, especially in your lungs, at a massive risk of mutation every time you have a cigarette. You might smoke for 100 years and never get sick, but every time you do it, you're increasing the risk of that happening. So work with your body. It's common sense, look after it. So think of a cell as a fish in a fish tank. You have the filtering system in the water, which like your liver is your kidneys, flushing everything out. Your lymphatic system is like the filters. So getting the oxygen in through your lungs and alkalizing food is like putting the bubbles in the water. So you have this perfect clean water filled with oxygen, the fish thrive. If too much shit gets in the water and now the filter system can't cope with it, now the water starts to get tainted with chemicals, with toxicity. The fish starts to get sick. So now the fish is sick, you take it to the doctor and you say, doctor, the fish is sick, give it some medicine. So the doctor will feed it medicine and it will get a bit better, it keeps it alive. But how is it going to get better while it's in that environment? It can't, can it? It's going to stay sick. The doctor might be able to keep it alive with the drugs it's giving it. The only way to make that fish better is to take it out of a bad environment and put it back into a clean environment. Now, clean water and everything, the fish will get better. Cells in our body are exactly the same as that fish in the fish tank. So have you ever heard of what's his name now? Biologist, discovered epigenetics over 50 years ago, Bruce Lipton.
Yeah, we talked about him last time.
Amazing guy. I've read all these loads of books. I listened to his lectures and that. Unbelievable guy. And he discovered epigenetics by taking cells, stem cells out of the body, putting them in a petri dish and doing experiments. Say a stem cell is just a cell that can turn into any kind of cell once it's had a signal to be told what to do. So you put these
different types of stem cells.
Yeah. So
there's one type of stem cell that can become every other cell, isn't there?
Pretty much. So you got them, they're like embryonic stem cells. Put them in the dish, they constantly like double. So you leave these cells in the dish for a week and you've got 100,000 stem cells in that dish. Every time they duplicate, they're exactly identical to the last one. So now you've got 100,000 identical stem cells. He separated them into 3 different dishes and then he changed the culture medium. So the culture medium in a stem cell dish, he's going to try and mimic blood. The human cells, he's going to mimic human blood. That's the culture medium that it lives in. So a cell, like a fish, lives in the liquid, in this case, the culture medium. So he changed the culture medium in all 3 petri dishes. All the cells in the one dish turned to bone cells. Cells in the second dish turned to muscle cells. And the cells in the third dish turned to fat cells. So he proved right there that a cell will adapt to its environment, which is epigenetics. It will always adapt. So then he got perfectly healthy cells and he put chemicals in like growth hormone, vasopressin, serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin. These are all chemicals that your brain releases into the body when you're extremely happy, when you feel love, you feel great about yourself. When you put these into the dish, the cells go to them, feed off them, and thrive off it. And these cells are really healthy. So the second dish, you put stress hormones, like cortisone, things like that. The cells, you could see them trying to run away from it. They get to the furthest position away from it. So a cell it can either go towards it or it can get away. It can't be both at the same time. So this is proving your health, that the cell will always adapt. So if the stress hormones got to the cell started to get sick, break down, or even die. So think about that. Whenever the cell is in the culture medium, the cell doesn't know whether it's in a petri dish or if it's in your body. It just reacts to its environment. So when you look at the culture medium in our body, the blood, what affects the blood? Everything we eat, everything we drink. So if you're putting shit food in your body, you're tainting the water. If you put healthy food in, you're making it good. Everything we breathe in. So we can do the best we can in the Western world. You got a lot of fucking chemicals and shit in the air. There's so much pollution and crap. If you choose to smoke cigarettes or whatever it is, you're putting chemicals into the body. We need good, clean air. Thirdly, what most people don't think about is how your mind affects your body. So every time you have a thought and you have a feeling, the emotion is your brain releasing chemicals into your body that react with the cells to make you feel something. So if you're happy, you feel love, you're releasing all those amazing hormones that help cells to thrive. If you're miserable, you're pissed off, you're sad, you're angry, you're releasing stress hormones. So you think, why would your body do that? Go back to hunter-gathering times. There was no real stresses. You had your little clan, you'd go out hunting, you'd go collecting berries, shit like that. You'd come back and have a massive feast. Every now and then, you might go out hunting and there's a fucking saber-toothed tiger and it's watching you, it's going to eat you. Now, all of a sudden, your brain is like, fuck, shit, scared, fear. It dumps this huge amount of stress hormones into your body and puts you in fight or flight mode. And this could be adrenaline, cortisone, all these stress hormones that, if you ever heard stories like a woman who's been able to lift a car off her trapped son, how could she do that? Because her body's dumped these stress hormones and she had this amazing fight or flight. It's give her this crazy energy so you can fight off the tiger, run away from it, get to a safe position. So in that time, what it does, say you've got this much energy in your body, half of that energy is running everything inside. It's making sure your immune system's going well. It's turning over new cell production, keeping everything running. The other half is energy, what we use in our limbs to walk around, do stuff. So if that tiger's about to eat me and I'm using up half of my energy fighting off a bacteria in my gut, we've got diarrhea, what's more important, the tiger that's going to eat me or a bit of diarrhea? If he fucking eats me, the diarrhea is his problem, right? Because I hope the fuck he's gonna have trouble passing me out. So these stress hormones shut down cell production. They shut down immune system. All this what's going on inside to give you all of that energy for fight or flight, and that's why you get that much energy. So you get away from the tiger. 10, 15 minutes have passed. There's no threat. No more fear, no more stress. It stops producing that. Everything goes back to normality. And now cell production starts. Everything's fine again. If you stay in stress for too long, there's no cell production going on. Your immune system's compromised. This is why stress can make people sick. This is why you can get ill. You can die from fucking stress. And people don't realize it. So between your food, your air, your drink, and your fucking brain, it controls a massive amount of how healthy your body's going to be. People really have no fucking idea.
Well, I've experienced that firsthand in my job. I went through phases where my job was so stressful. I used to literally shit blood. and anytime I would eat, my body would reject it. Like stages of my career have been that stressful. But I'm not going to lie, Dean, I'm kind of fixated on the Petri dish with the muscle stem cells. Where can I get one of them from?
You'd have to read his book. I'm not sure exactly what he changed culture medium to make more muscle cells, but that would bodybuilders would pay a lot of fucking money for that.
Fucking right.
But here's the thing.
Growth hormone.
Here's the thing, because you were talking about like back in then, all of these stress hormones and all that we usually saved up for real problem, like real fight or flight stuff. And now in today's society, we live in such a high stress environment. We're getting drip fed this shit.
Exactly that. That was my next point. Like, there's no more saber-toothed tiger going to eat us, but relationship problems, money problems, there's social media bullshit, and it's all down to perception, isn't it? How you see things, and the way people are now, everything's a fucking problem. I got kids crying their eyes out because mommy won't buy them a new fucking Mercedes. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the end of the world. They've never had a hard day in their life, so they perceive these comforts, when the comforts are taken away, to be the end of the world. The brain doesn't know any different. It's still drip feeding these stress hormones, which in time will make you fucking sick.
Yeah. I mean, I say this to a lot of people, and a lot of working with is that the mind will follow. If someone's had a really, really stressful week with work, or like kids have kept them up and stuff like that, I'll take that on board as if they'd had, a particularly like taxing training week. It's the same. The impact physically will eventually be the same, and mental stress eventually will become a physical one. So that feedback and stuff like that about how your week is doing that people don't want to fucking fill out on a checking sheet is one of the most important aspects, because like you said, stress will fuck you up. I'm wondering whether
massively. Most people would just say, yeah, they are, stress fuck you up, but they don't know how and the science behind it.
Yeah.
Once you understand how it's on a cellular level that it will fuck the cells up, you're not one person. You're a community of 50 to 100 trillion cells that all work together. So if that's not working together and they're off, it's all going to break down. It's like lots and lots of cogs. It's like a car, and what's more important, the engine or the fucking nuts that hold the wheels on? It's all as important to make it work, and if the nuts fall off, the wheels fall off, it doesn't fucking go anywhere. Yeah. All these little mechanisms have to all work together to make the body healthy.
Have you noticed as well, most of the top bodybuilders are fucking chilled. Like, they don't let stuff touch them.
Yeah.
It's just like...
like, what's the first thing when you're stressed the fuck, your body releases a load of cortisone. What does cortisone do? Smooth you over to shit with water. Yeah. So you're a day out from a competition, you're panicking like fuck. You're now smooth as fuck. Yeah. Bang a load more diuretics trying to get that water out and just go flat and flat.
Yeah.
And that guy is just chilled backstage with his legs up, not a worry in the world. It looks dry as fuck. You don't need any diuretics.
Yeah.
It's just,
which will make, I mean, we can talk about that because we've done enough shows, but I know what it's like on the first run. You're like, no, I'm fine. And then you're like, oh my fucking God, I'm going to stand in pants. Why am I doing this?
Oh, man, yeah.
Whose idea was this? Well, I think that we can safely say that Lee isn't coming.
Yeah.
He might turn up now, and be like, yeah, you fuckers.
Yeah, let's not wait for that, because we'll be here till God knows what time.
Yeah. Well, I think we did well. I think the stress and the microbiome stuff was something people can chunk into.
Yeah, definitely, man.
We're all worried. Everyone wants to think about super science, drugs, sarcomeres and stuff like that. When again, we're talking about the hierarchy. Your microbiome and the cells in your body should come before any of this stuff, and people are concentrating on the tip, as they usually do, because it sounds interesting, whilst they're not.
So the majority of bodybuilders, they don't give a fuck about any of this health. What, fuck off. As long as I get massive, I don't give a fuck. Think about this. If your health shot, your microbiome shot, you are not absorbing the food you're eating. You're not going to get big. You can fucking eat shit all day long. You're just going to get a massive bloated fucking belly and look like shit and probably die early. So keep your fucking health, and you can get
lucky.
big and feel good.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
The stress thing was prevalent to me, man. It was a nice little reminder. So yeah, appreciate that. You are a wealth of knowledge, Dean.
It was a good angle, and it also tied back to the being in charge of your emotions. If you're reactive, overactive, you'll always fail.
Yeah.
A lot of that as well, there's so much connected with your microbiome to how it makes you feel, to how it makes you think. Like, are we in charge, or are these bacteria in charge? Because they're massively affecting our thought processes and the way we feel, because they're making us release chemicals into the body too.
So if I call Dan a cunt, I can be like, sorry, it was my microbiomes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but then like, why? Oh, I ate a McDonald's and it made me feel Dan a cunt. Who made you eat the McDonald's?
It was Ronald's fault.
Yeah.
Ronald the microbiome.
See, that fucking clown is responsible for more deaths than any other clown. Eat the clown, who the fuck's he compared to Ronald? He's killed so many more people with them burgers.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
On that bombshell.
We're gonna just bombshell out.
Bombshell out. I think we've already bled Dean of plenty of information for this evening, I think.
Well,
I could talk all night, but I bore the shit out of all of it.
No, not boring at all.
No, I loved it. I want to see Lee's like emoji ha about Stitch.
It'll just be one of those.
Yeah. And we deserved it. So thanks for tuning in for Lee's podcast. It doesn't exist.
Shall I gotta label this Lee Priest stands up the Bash Bros.
Just label it not the Lee Priest.
Yeah, at least it's like fishing then, isn't it? At least they come and think.
All right, it's been a mosh.
Yeah, nice one, Jen.
Until next time.
Have a nice evening.
Peace out.
Cheers, bud.